I just adjusted the light in here so that, because I turned the camera on, it was way too bright. 3 times I adjusted the light, and then when I sat down, it anyways, it was too bright, and when I finally sat down to turn to record, it's dark. So I don't know. I'm just frustrated. So I'm having a really hard time here. I'm scared about what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. You know, it's just been such a long, hard road. And I'm so sick, and I don't fully understand. I wish I could sit down with somebody, like I think right now, because of the way my channel is right now, I can only record 15-minute videos, but I wish I could sit down with, and I wished this before with my other channel. I wished, whether I survive this or not, because it's a great big mess, right? Whether I survive this or not, I wish I could sit down with somebody for 2 hours and they could ask me questions and I could tell my story. Because when you hear it in bits and pieces, you know, people call bullshit on my story at times. I had a couple doctors following me too on social media, and they called bullshit on my story until they asked a whole bunch of questions, and they knew, that my story was real. And when people hear what really happened to me, especially, if doctors understand what really happened to me, how bad it's been for me within the medical community. There, you know, well, there's two different kinds of doctors out there. A good ethical doctor is disgusted when they hear my story. They're saddened, and they're disgusted how their colleagues could fail me to this degree. And then the other type is, they're angry because they can't believe it. They're defensive. They want to protect each other. They want to cover up. There's a lot of victim, the general public doesn't know this, but there's a lot of victim blaming of patients in the medical community when things go wrong, because when patients are injured, it's so much about their ego. They're so fearful that their reputation is going to be marred, even when they've done something, really stupid, or made a terrible mistake and really, really harmed you. They run for cover. And, when you're the patient, these experiences, the outcomes of these experiences are so much different than what you think they will be. And you are so shocked and disappointed at the behavior. And I wish I could sit with somebody for 2 hours and I didn't have to stop. I didn't have to worry about the time. I didn't have to watch the clock and be distracted by that. And, I wish I could tell my full story and get it out there, get it, have it somewhere, whether I survive or not. It's sad, and it's shocking. It should be a warning for people. And, the fact remains that no one is protecting patients from medical error, long-term misdiagnosis, medical harm, triangulation, um, being scapegoated. It's it's really sad, and you know I'm proud of myself for how far I've gotten. I'm proud of myself for how tenacious I've been and how hard I have fought to survive. And it's been bad. I saw a meme the other day. It was a quote of a doctor that I thought it was really profound because he could recognize, like if just a regular person was reading this meme, they really wouldn't understand the depth of this man's understanding of harm that is occurring to some patients. And I'll maybe if I remember, I'll do a video tomorrow and read this meme. But obviously, this man has heard stories of patients being harmed, complex patients. The night last night was just hell. And I had 3 hours of broken sleep. And this is a complex situation, and I don't understand what's happening. My doctor doesn't understand, and I today I sent him an email, really begging him for help and pushing him about a trach, and thinking this is the way to go. I'm so desperate. I'm so desperate to sleep. And honest to God, I do not know if the solution is a trach or Chiari decompression surgery. Well, I'm sitting here and it's, almost 3:20 in the morning, thinking about going to bed, and I'm so tight in here and in the chest, and my jaw hurts. And I can't sleep because my throat is closing when I'm awake, and I can't relax to sleep because my throat is closing. And I have to explain this to everybody because people don't understand. The CPAP machine is for when you're asleep. When you're asleep, the CPAP mask, you've got pressurized air blowing through there, and you're asleep, and each time your throat closes, the pressurized air gently prompts your throat to open. And it's pressurized. Like, the pressure goes higher. There's a timer on it. The pressure goes higher after you've fallen asleep. So when you're awake, you have to be relaxed and fall asleep, and then that pressure gets higher, and then it stops it, and then it opens your throat each time your throat is closing with sleep apnea. The CPAP, you don't put it on your face and it's blasting at a high pressure, and you couldn't gradually, gently fall asleep when there's, forceful air blasting down your throat. I don't know how anybody in the world could relax enough to fall asleep if there's air blasting down your throat, conceivably keeping your throat open. That's it's like if you stood in front of a blow dryer and this air is blasting down your throat. How are you going to relax and close your eyes and gently fall into a sleep? You can't. You have to be, and I can't take sleep drugs because it makes my throat close more. So the problem is my throat is closing while I'm awake, preventing sleep from occurring. Once I finally get to sleep, the CPAP is doing its thing. It's stopping the apnea, but the CPAP has never helped the actual insomnia. The CPAP isn't made for like when your throat is closing awake, preventing you from falling asleep. That's not sleep apnea. That's a problem with the laxicity of your throat. That's maybe an autonomic problem. That is not sleep apnea. And they're refusing me. The people that I've seen, the surgeons that I've seen, are refusing care. And it's a messy situation. And to be honest, like the state of trauma and fear, that I was in at those appointments, I never should have been at those appointments by myself. I should have had an advocate. You don't have a patient severely traumatized going in to see surgeons and trying to obtain this really drastic surgery, whether that's Chiari, brain surgery or a tracheostomy. It's just unheard of. It's crazy. But there is no advocacy. There's no one, to seriously fight to get this for me. And this is not run-of-the-mill, surgery. This is not a common situation, right? And I can't go to the ER and show them, okay, look at me. I'm falling asleep. Now, see my throat closing? See me struggling? Like I can't go to the ER and prove to them what's happening to me. Everybody thinks Santa Claus is waiting in the ER and he's going to make your dreams come true and provide you with any kind of medical care that you ask for. You can't walk into an ER and say, well, my throat's closing when I'm asleep. Help me. Like they have no way of knowing that that's true. This is not something that ER doctors have seen. This is not, something that they normally see. And what they say to you is rely on the people in the community, like the doctors in the community, right? And it's just a big mess in my medical records. And see, I can't disclose everything on video because I'm trying to get help. It's almost time to go to bed, and I'm terrified. The night before, I had 2 hours of sleep. So yesterday I was just way worse shape, just so distraught. Like, my head hurts so bad, my chest, my heart. I'm so sick from not sleeping. And I don't know. It's with it's the throat. It's an airway issue or it's the Chiari malformation.